right, thanks for joining us today for this quick look at Mobius Mobius from the Disney Plus set. He is number 19. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this figure, his special damage power, and I don't think this figure is getting enough attention because we're going to show some other figures that you can team up with him to really get some interesting interactions. All right, but let's take a look at him first. So he's number 19. He's coming in with the detective, future, past, and police keywords. And he is only 30 points. His special damage power is leadership. But then also, once per turn, for all characters with this effect, when a friendly character within range uses phase and teleport and moves 4 squares or less after resolutions, they may make a close attack. Okay, he has a range of 6. So when a friendly character within 6 squares uses phase and teleport, moves 4 squares or less after resolutions, they may make a close attack. Now there is the limit of once per turn for all characters with this trait. So even if you have multiple Mobius on your team, it's only once per turn for all characters with this effect. And even if you have multiple figures that can phase on his team, it's still once per turn. So he can only pull off this trick once, but it's a pretty cool little thing he has going on. Let's take a look at the back of his card here. Okay, he's coming in with just 4 clicks of life. The thing that we're looking at today, his special damage, is on his first click and last click. But really, he's one that's going to be just behind and letting the teammates do their deal. He comes in with an 8 range phase. He has TK, which will help get some movement going on. He has a 16 defense with energy shield, and then that special damage power that we talked about. All right, let's take a look at how this can interact with some interesting other figures. Okay, first teammate we're going to look at here for Mobius is Silver Samurai. Now, a lot of the figures we'll look at, we got to kind of point out the after resolutions part. So again, Mobius, his deal is once per turn for all characters with this effect. When a friendly character within range uses phase and teleport, moves 4 squares or less after resolutions, they may make a close attack. So that's an after resolutions, not immediately after resolutions. So anything that is after resolutions, once things are triggered, you as the active player choose the order in which the after resolutions resolve. And that's going to come into play with a lot of these examples, and it will make sense once we walk through it. So a figure like Silver Samurai, who is 65 points from X-Men Rise and Fall, he has a trait, Phase and Teleport. When he uses it and moves 5 squares or less after resolutions, he may make a close attack. On his dial, he has 11 attack blades with 3 damage exploit, and he has stealth and combat reflexes. So blades exploit combination, where he can phase and then do that for free. So if we take a look here at a real quick example of how that might work, you have Silver Samurai here. He can use his phase and teleport up to 5, but we'll want to make sure he uses it 4 squares or less so that Mobius's effect also triggers. And we have the Magneto over here as the opponent. So Silver Samurai could phase a few squares, up to 4, and then he would make Blades exploit attack on Magneto after resolutions. Then also after resolutions, Mobius was triggered because that character was within range, used phase and teleport, moved 4 squares or less, so all of that criteria was met, which means that after resolutions, they may make a close attack. Blades and exploit are both passive effects, so when Silver Samurai then makes his close attack through Mobius, he'll be doing blades and exploit again. So a lot of damage potential there. And again, a stealth character, so you can use the stealth to kind of keep him protected as you get into position to pull off that combo. Okay, next one let's look at is somebody like Spot. So Spot is from Spider-Man Venom Absolute Carnage set. He's coming in at 50 points. What he has going on is the trait, his second trait here, there, and everywhere. Phase and teleport. Phase and teleport as free, but half speed. His starting speed is 10 with stealth. He has a 10 attack, 2 damage, outwit, super senses. What he also has here is flurry. When Spot makes a close attack, he may target an opposing character within 4 squares, regardless of adjacency. Then we're not going to worry about the second part of that. But traded flurry, phase-in is free, but only to go 5. For him to trigger off a Mobius, we're only going to be doing 4 or less anyway. So for this type of example, the way that combos up is we have Venom, or not Venom Magneto, but Phoenix Magneto over here. Spot can do his close attack with flurry, 4 squares, and it's still a close attack. So when he does a close attack, opposing characters within 4 is what he can do, regardless of adjacency. Okay, so there's some different ways that plays out, but we can do the free phase and teleport because we need that phase for Mobius to trigger. He can go up to 5, but again, we want to limit it to 4 or less. So he could phase 1 square over. So then when Spot does his free phase after resolutions, Mobius's trigger would occur, which would allow him to do a free close attack. And Spot's close attacks can be 4 squares away, regardless of adjacency. So he could then close attack Magneto. And then since his phase-in was free, Mobius's trigger was free, then he could take a power action to flurry into Magneto again. Okay, next one we'll look at. Let's take a look at somebody like Spiral from X-Men Dark Phoenix Saga. So to do this one, what she has, she's coming in a little bit higher points, 80 points, but she has her special movement, which is phase and teleport plasticity. When Spiral uses phase and teleport and moves 5 squares or less, after resolution, she can use both incap and telekinesis at no cost in either order. She has 3 bolts, so she can target 3 characters with that incap or her close attack. On her dial, on her starting click, she has precision strike, shape change, and super senses. So that triple target with precision strike plus the incap can give out tokens, ding people for damage. Now let's look at how this one works. So with Spiral, her ability to use the incap and telekinesis at no cost is an after resolutions when she uses phase and teleport. Mobius's is also after resolutions. So for this type of example, we could phase. We'd want to keep it 4 or less so that we trigger Mobius. She could phase over here a couple squares. Then we would want to choose our after resolutions triggers, the resolution parts. We would resolve Mobius's first, allowing Spiral to make a close attack. If there were multiple opponents over here, she could triple target, but she would make her close attack in the Magneto with precision strike. Then we would want to trigger or resolve the Spiral's after resolutions effect. So then that would allow her to incap. Again, if there were multiple figures here, she could incap them all, with a close attack, triple target, but she can cap just Magneto, and then she can also phase, or not phase, but TK at no cost. So then she can TK herself back out of there. Okay, that's how Spiral would work. Let's take a look at another one. And these are just a few that we're going to go over. There's quite a bit more if you do some research, and you can let me know the combinations that you see, but I thought these ones were pretty interesting. Okay, this one is Ultron from the Avengers Battleground box set. What he has going on is he has a 6-range single target. He has 11 attack, 4 damage with penetrating psychic blast and probability control. He has an 18 defense with impervious. He also has this special movement power, which is phase and teleport. Then he also has free, roll a d6, phase and teleport at no cost, but only to move up to the result. And that's up to the result. So even if he rolls a 6, you can choose to go 4 or less so that it triggers Mobius. Okay, somebody like Ultron then, what he can do is with that 6-range penetrating, he can take his power action, take a ranged shot on Magneto from where he's at. Then he can do his free action to roll a d6. He could phase over to there. That would trigger Mobius. And then Ultron could then do a close attack with an 11 for 4 damage. So another way to get additional attacks out of teaming up with Mobius. Okay, last one. Let's take a look at Shadow King back here. So Shadow King is a colossal figure from, again, X-Men Dark Phoenix. And what Shadow King can do, we're going to take a look at his figure back there, and we'll bring him back up. You won't be able to see all of them in frame, but we'll take a look at his card. What Shadow King has, the lowest one that you can play him on to team him up here with Mobius is his 150 point start in line, which is here, which is going to give him a start in 11 attack, 4 damage with prob. You'll notice that he has 8 range triple target, and that's at the 150. And then what Shadow King has going on here is his special movement power, which is mind control, phase, and teleport. Once per turn, when Shadow King uses either, after resolutions, he may use the other one at no cost. So the way that can team up here with Mobius is he can use that phase and teleport, and then after resolutions, he can use mind control. After resolutions, he can also make a close attack. This Shadow King has triple target, and he's a colossal. So whenever he is based with another figure, he can still target ranged out of adjacency. So it gives you some options here. In this kind of setup, if he's teamed up with Mobius, for example, what he can do is he can phase first and base Magneto. Then you have 2 after resolutions that you can choose on how you want to finish them. With Mobius, Shadow King gets a close attack. Since he's a colossal, he has giant reach 3. He has 3 targets. So he could target Magneto plus 2 other figures if he wanted to. And since he is that colossal, he can see over to get that giant reach 3. His line of fire can get 3 squares out. So he'd be hidden with 4 damage. Up to 3 targets, he'd have to split his damage, but it gives you options. Okay, after Mobius's trigger occurs, then you could do the after resolutions for Shadow King, which was mind control at no cost. So then triple target, and he can mind control up to 8 squares away, because he can range out of adjacency, or he can do that mind control is close, depending on what your opponent has going on. So again, anything that you can combine with phase and teleport and get in multiple benefits from Mobius. With only 30 points on Mobius, you can include him on multiple teams. On the figures we looked at today, he shares a keyword. If you wanted to try to stay within theme, Mobius has passed, Shadow King has passed. I think he shares a keyword also with, let's see, he has detective. So if you do some research, you'll see that there are some detective figures on the DC side that have things that combine with phase in. So you have some options there if you wanted to stay in theme. All right. I hope this video sheds some light on how you can use Mobius and gives you some ideas and sparks your creativity so that you can go out and team build with him. I think he's pretty cool and can do some fun things once you build around him. Let me know in the comments below what your ideas are on how you'd like to use them. And thanks for watching today.
Check it out. If you dig what we do, go ahead and like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.